Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Today, in our Millennial Mom segment brought to you by OGPay.com, we're featuring the amazing Kimberly Guilfoyle, political influencer, mother, patriot, and proud American. Today, we're chatting plans for 2023, life, love, how she and Don Jr. keep it real and grounded, and more importantly, how she continues to navigate media manipulation with such grace. All that is necessary to destroy a person's character publicly is to take that person and overtly or covertly associate them to something the masses will reject. Never mind if it's true or not, simply to question it or make the association is sufficient. The media is guilty of this almost daily, and Kimberly is an expert at shielding herself and her family from all riffraff. Welcoming now to the show is the stunning KG. Welcome, my stunner.
Oh, I love it. Great to be with you, Zen. And again, congratulations on all your success. You're such a positive influence for so many people, men, women, young boys, all of the above. So I appreciate and applaud your fearlessness and your diversity in terms of everything that you're involved in. We share stuff in common in that, we both get out there. Every day is a new opportunity to invent and to create and to be bold and about new chapters in life. So I love what you have done with yours.
Oh, thank you so much for that reciprocation. Do you ever age? You look absolutely fantastic and just hot. The last time I saw you in 2019, it was on a Newsmax show I was a contributor on, and you've just not aged a bit. You are beautiful. Let's start with your amazing son, Ronan. So I've heard through my sources that he is the most polite, well-rounded, educated, and charming young man. And I just want to know, how do you shield him from the media? And what is the most important thing motherhood has taught you?
Well, I really appreciate that. I have one of our best friends here who's listening and watching. He's nodding his head. He's like, yes, yes. So we make the joke all the time. And Don Jr. is fond of saying in true Trump fashion, he's like, Princess, you're lucky I haven't sold him yet because we can get a lot of money for him. He's like, he's polite. He's good looking. He's a good athlete. He works hard. So it's always, some parents like live in fear about back to school night or parent teacher conference. I go into like, we wish we had more Ronan. And I'm like, well, I've only got the one. So, but everyone said, well, you got it right with him. So, all good. No problem that I stopped there. But nevertheless, we have such a close relationship. I raised, Ronan as a single mother since he was 2 years of age. And by that, I mean, he was, living primarily with me, but he has a great father and, Eric Valencia, and we co-parent really well. And I really attribute Ronan's well-rounded character and his integrity and his ethics and morality to the fact that we work together well as a unit. And I think when you don't make it about you, you make it about the child and about the family and making sure that the child has the resources and the love unconditional, that they need, you can really have a positive, impact. We'll go to his football games, together. And I'm very supportive working out the schedule when he wants to go. He loves to ski as well. So go skiing on these great trips over Christmas time. So I don't demand like, you've got to be home Christmas Day with me because I'm thinking about what Ronan wants to do. And that's his chance. He works so hard in school and, in academics and athletics for him to be able to get a break and like go away and reset. It's very good for him, mentally, physically. So that's what you do, right? Like you want to do what's best for your child, provide a nurturing environment. And, Ronan has lived with Don Jr., myself, and Don's been a phenomenal influence on Ronan with the outdoors and shooting and fishing and all of the above. And it's been really nice, to see because, we've been together 5 years now. And it was an interesting dynamic to then bring when there hadn't been any man in the household since Ronan was 2, for Don to come in. And it just worked seamlessly, like perfect from day one. It was like, okay, here we are. And it gelled together really well. We have 2 adorable dogs, the Super Mario Brothers, Mario and Luigi, that were Ronans, but, we share, and Don calls them the Wolf Pack. So we have a lot of fun and laughs. And I'm actually very blessed because, I had Ronan, but now I get to share with Don his amazing children. He has 5 of them. So we're definitely like the modern day Brady Bunch, like no joke. 6 kids under 16. Oh my God.
Your hands are full.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's like a successful weekend when no one goes to the urgent care or emergency room. I'm like, just live, everyone. Let's be good.
Yeah,
But
you went from political trailblazer to Mary Poppins very quickly over there.
literally, I know. I'm like Irish Puerto Rican Mary Poppins. So it's fun, it keeps it interesting here. There is no doubt. We had a wonderful day. You're just like celebrating with the kids. So this is interesting because, well, New Year's Eve rather. Dawn's birthday. It was our 2-year engagement anniversary, and then it's New Year's Eve, right? So we spent the day going out on the boat, taking the kids out. They got to swim and jump around and burn off energy, and it was really nice. And then we gave Don one of his like Carvel cakes. He loves a good Carvel cake. Let me tell you. And now he's like really weird.
I follow you on social media, right? So like
I saw the cake.
I saw the cake.
Like, Dad, it looks like you. You're a donkey man. Look at this. The cake. Don's like, what? Yep. But the funny thing is, his favorite Carvel cake, which by the way, don't even try to take a bite because you get your finger bitten off, is Fudgy the whale cake. Okay.
Oh, okay. Fudgy the whale cake.
Fudgy. He just loves him. And so he was like, oh, I love this. What about Fudgy? So then the funny thing is, he found out that Carvel delivers, which is a big problem because he didn't know that. And I was like, oh, try to find a Carvel to get the ice cream cake. But now he knows they'll like Instacart or something to the house. So
yeah, Instacart. Oh, I love Instacart. So now we have Carvel and Instacart in common here. But I want to go back because I have something very specific I want to ask you. So let's chat media manipulation, because this irks me as a mom. It irks me to my core when kids are involved, but you shield your family very, very eloquently. And a very typical way of using this media manipulation, it's a tactic to connect, even if it's through intricate stratagem, the person to some law-breaking, shady person, organization, or action. You have been privy to this. Even if it's not true, it leaves a dark cloud of doubt in the mind of the person receiving the information. That's why slander is so effective in destroying enemies. The media will never come out and admit that they do this. They are accountable to no one, much like some sort of immaculate and narcissistic God. But you and Don Jr. have been together for quite some time. What makes you such a great team, and how do you stay so grounded?
It's a great question. And, I don't know, we're unbelievably tough. I'll tell you that, because every single day they try to break us. They try to cancel us. The articles are like literally insane. And even when they get confronted with facts or truth that actually disprove anything they're trying to say. So, well, we have one source. I'm like, okay, well, we weren't even in the state. Here are the tickets. Here are the photo. We're in like a different state, a totally different time. Like, what is going on here? But they don't care. They're so thirsty for clickbait. And they just say, they're like, well, your name, when we put it in headlines, gets so many clicks. I'll be honest with you. And these are like across the board outlets, but it's sad. And you have so many people with different blogs and this and that. They put stuff up. But really what we've seen, as a family, they really just try to come after us every single day because they don't want President Trump, to run again. It's insane. So it doesn't matter about the lying or whatever they fabricate. It's nonstop investigations. I myself did 13 hours with the January 6th committee with 7 lawyers grilling me. Fine by me. I'm an undefeated prosecutor and I can hold my own. I was raised by my mother and my father. But, it's not for everybody. It's tough stuff. Don always tells all our friends, he's like, KG used to be loved by everybody, both sides, very popular. Everybody loved her. He's like, and then she started, dating me. And then it was like half of the country was like, oh, kill her now. It was like crazy. It was interesting to see this metamorphosis and overnight where people just went after you with such a visceral dislike. And it's like, how are we different from other people where, we have family that we love. We have children that we love. We have pets that we love. President Trump is, our kid's like grandfather. So I recall one time somebody confronted me in a restaurant, was screaming and, obscenities about President Trump, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, listen, it's just a little bit disappointing. I said, my boys, our children are eating outside. And I said, would not like them to come in here and hear this. I appreciate, you have your opinions about him as an individual, but to these children, that's just their grandfather.
Exactly.
And they love him.
And
you don't want me screaming about your father or your, whatever family member like that. I mean, I'm quite sure, and she had not even met President Trump ever. So, and I know the president for what now, like 18 years. So he's my friend. I know him personally in a different way than just, my fiance's, father. But it's tough. It's tough. I honestly feel that so much more unites us than divides us if we get down to the granular aspects of us as human beings. how we relate, what's important to us, what we think about, and where we want healthy children. We want to make sure that we've got food and ability to provide and to earn a decent living, equality for opportunity of everybody. Result isn't given. It's how hard you work, and I can say this, as my father, an immigrant from Ireland, my mother was fortunate enough to be born in, Puerto Rico, lived in Aguadilla, grew up, and then moved to San Francisco where they met and, fell in love in an improbable way. But that's what life is about.
Okay, well, we have four and a half minutes left, and I wanted, we'll cut to a commercial break if we're out of time and come back for more, but I wanted to get your thoughts on where we stand right now. So America, Kimberly, obviously is no longer the same place it was during the Trump era for many reasons that go beyond politics. But
Correct.
But lots of Democrats do not wish Joe Biden to seek a second term. And longstanding speculation about whether he is showing age-related decline is increasingly at the center of almost, every media coverage. But the bottom line, and this is what we have to remember, the bottom line is that more Republicans are enthusiastic about Trump running to win a second term in 2024 than Democrats are enthusiastic about Biden doing the same. So in your opinion, why is this the case, and where do you think we're headed in 2024?
I think it's the very clear and convincing juxtaposition between what occurred during the Trump administration with record numbers for the economy, record high employment, and entrepreneurs, more female women created businesses, more minority created businesses, and record low unemployment across the board for Hispanics, for Asian Americans, for African Americans. And there's a freedom to live your American dream versus this punishment and government control that we're seeing. Of course, there's factors that came in like the pandemic and coronavirus, which really put things upended them. But there's no real excuse right now for the record inflation, for the gas prices, for the bare shelves and lack of supplies. I mean, I never thought I would wake up in this country and say, wow, there's no baby formula. Like things like that have really just shocked the conscience of hardworking Americans. And whether you're liberal or, Democrat or conservative or independent or libertarian, you can also just honestly examine the facts and see where we are. Where are we with energy independence and with, pipelines? One was closing them down, one was opening them up. So, whatever your politics are, look at the facts, equip yourself with that, do a deep dive, get the information, because it's really true that every vote does count and only one vote per person should count. But, we want that, in this country, and we want the freedom of discourse and opinion. I'm happy with what's happening with Truth Social, happy with what's happening with Twitter, with people getting reinstated and having that marketplace of ideas. I think it's what's so unique and important in this country. I mean, that's what our founding fathers and forefathers fought for, was to be able to have that independence, that autonomy, and that free speech. And I think it's, so important, as a mother, as a former prosecutor, as a television, journalist, witnessing American political history from multiple different vantage points. It's really provided a tremendous window into what goes on across this country and the people across it. And that's one of the best things why Don Jr. and I not only together as, fiancés, but best friends, because we really work well together. We believe in people and human beings, and we have the great pleasure and honor to travel across this country in every single state and meet amazing Americans.
Amen. Amen. And it's interesting. We have about a minute left, but we're cut to a commercial break and come right back and talk charity. But Politico said it best, right? In 2020, President Trump inspired enough mania amongst partisans, despite an impeachment, the loss of congressional majorities, a long roster of, erratic statements at times and behavior and weak approval ratings amongst the general public. But he managed to increase his vote total from 2016 by more than 11 million voters. So again, media manipulation. You have to look at the facts. Exactly.
Well, it's absolutely true. And he received more votes than any incumbent president prior to him that had won an election. So, you have to think, again, use your common sense. I actually discussed this specific matter with the January 6th committee and talked to them about that. I said, why do you think people think that? I said, well, I don't know, maybe because the guy got more votes, 11 million more votes than, he did the first time he ran, and more than any other incumbent president. So people actually go, and they're able to think for themselves to wonder how, in fact, this did transpire. But I'm for voter integrity, and I think that's very important in our democratic process to be able to make sure that every vote does count, every legal and valid vote counts, and that we don't have manipulation across the board or disenfranchisement or suppression of votes.
There you go. Amen. You said it best, sister. Stand by. We'll be right back. Guys, definitely have to check out Kimberly Guilfoyle. That's the amazing Kimberly Guilfoyle. And you can check her out on the gram at Kimberly Guilfoyle, and head to shopkimberlyg.com for some real fun items for all you patriots out there. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. That was our Millennial Mom segment brought to you by OG Pay. Stand by. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Caldwell Soames Incorporated, investing globally in transformative businesses like Original Digital Corporation, or ODC. ODC develops advanced consumer and commercial fintech solutions such as OG Pay, which will transform the way you manage your money. From sending and receiving money globally for free, paying for goods and services in person and online, pay bills, buy and sell digital currencies, all while earning interest. OG Pay is easy to set up, FDIC insured, and your information is secured. Check out ogpay.com.
Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. Welcome back to our Millennial Mom segment brought to you by ogpay.com, where we are chatting with the incredible Kimberly Guilfoyle. Welcome back, Stunner.
All right. Great to be back with you.
All right. Let's chat philanthropy and setting a good example for our kids. So giving to charities and being involved is so very important to me as a mom. It benefits, right, society's neediest and most vulnerable. And often the people in society who are in need are the most overlooked. Governments, Kimberly, aren't set up to protect everyone who needs it. That's why charities are here to fill the gaps and provide dedicated resources to help the most vulnerable. What charities are you involved in? And in your opinion, what needs to be done to make America great again?
Yeah, I think it is so important. This is how I was raised. It's one of my core principles and values that I really pride myself on, and I strive every day to be able to give back. My mother and father raised me and told me, you have been abundantly blessed. And I have been, because I was able to be born in this country. I was able to receive a first-class education. I was able to go to summer school to try to better myself. I was able to play on sports and great athletic teams. And I had two very loving and nurturing parents. I lost my mom when I was 10, which was a terrible tragedy, but she gave me all the values and tools that I needed to succeed and to be a good mother and a loving and wonderful, partner and friend and sister. And it's just been wonderful to experience in life. And that's why I love the charities that I work with. New York Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children. And I received the Strength of Our Society, Spirit of Our Society award there for my work with children and mothers that were really affected and victims of domestic violence, child abuse, sexual abuse. And I work here with the Admiral's Cove Foundation, which I love, where we live, with a number of different charities, including we did a big event for Toys for Tots, and it was so incredible. We raised a lot of money and a lot of toys. Imagine that there's children that wake up on Christmas Day, they don't have toys. Maybe they don't even have a toothbrush. But I mean, these are people, we have to be able to give back. I'm particularly sensitive to charities that do great work, with children, and then also working with Veterans Group, helping a Hero Foundation and Wounded Warriors, and working with the Navy SEAL Museum, and working with a group that I'm involved with, Tribute 22, to stamp out veteran suicide. There are 22 veteran suicides every single day in this country. So we want to make 22 zero again. Yeah. And we pair these amazing veterans that have worked and put it all on their line and their families with support dogs and trained service dogs to help them. And it's a game changer. I wish I had an amazing dog to give to every single one of these incredible veterans, but it's been a wonderful experience to do that. So it's something that I'm involved with, and I do, every single day I do charitable work and work with my different organizations to make sure that we're making a difference. And I attend so many events, obviously at Mar-a-Lago, do speaking events there for all the different charities and the family. And, Mar-a-Lago and the president's been really, really great about making that venue available for some really worthwhile causes. And of course, leukemia and lymphoma foundation, because I lost my mother to leukemia, and then the gastroesophageal foundation. I work with a lot of hospital boards because my father died of gastric cancer. So, whatever I can do to give back, I try. So I really am so blessed to have people come to me to get help for these organizations, to make sure that, I can use my voice to amplify and create, awareness. And you just saw with Damar Hamlin, how sad on Monday Night Football, and collapsing to the ground like that. It was just terrible to see. As a mother, you saw what a good man he is, always going up to his mom on the sidelines. And then he was doing the charitable organization, went from $2,500 to over $3 million, and made a contribution to that, and just try to amplify that out on social media like so many amazing people did. So, thoughts and prayers to him and to his family. God bless.
So important to give back and balancing it all out. And coming back to your veteran devotion, my favorite charity is an incredible nonprofit that our financial expert who trends on the show, one of our actually financial professionals and contributor, Kyle Wool, he turned us on to an organization that you definitely should know about called heroesandhorses.org. It's a 41-day program for combat veterans up in Montana. And
I have heard of it. Amazing.
Yeah. And it's founded by Micah Fink and Clint LaRue, former SEAL Team 6. So, in order to make America great again, we must unprogram the programmed. And a lot of these veterans, Kimberly, to your point, they're left to the sidelines. They service us. They service our country. They protect our borders. They keep us safe at night. And we discharge them with very, very little. And it's sad. It's really sad to see.
It's heartbreaking, and my father, was a veteran. Obviously, he's since passed away, but served in the United States military. First thing he wanted to do when he came out from Ireland was enlist in the Army so that he could actually get back to the country that he felt had blessed him with so much. And, we owe them a debt of gratitude. We need to take care of them, and more especially when they step off of the battlefield. I love the programs like the equestrian program that you were talking about. There's so many things that we can do and ways to help. We can't leave them behind. And that's another thing, making America great again. Well, we're making America great again with each and every veteran that we support and their families. What President Trump made that a very important aspect of his administration, with revamping the VA and making sure that veterans weren't suffering. It's not okay to just send them home with a brown bag of pills and be like, good luck to you. That isn't going to work. And the long lines and waiting when they're trying to be able to get in to see a doctor and get some medical attention, because they want to be able to be there for their family. So you have to help them and give them that hope and that inspiration. We're not the greatest nation on earth if we are not taking care of our veterans.
Yeah, you said it. We should be treating them like VIP. All right, last question. Yeah. What are your main goals for 2023? And if you could give any piece of advice to your younger self, Kimberly, what would that be?
Yeah, I always tell the young people that I mentor, and I know you do a lot of that as well. I think it is so important. You've got to do that because they're searching, and they really want to know what they should do with their life and how they should do it. And I get so many parents and young people writing me about their daughters and their sons. And I tell them, be fearless. Do not be afraid to make a change in your life. Every chapter is something unique and interesting. And like yourself, I've done a lot of different things. We both love real estate, and I've done so much remodeling and renovation. Don says I'm better than his money market investors on return on investment. We're partners in every way. And I always say that to young women too. I said, earn your own living, have your own money, your own independence. Then you can choose with your whole heart and your love who you're with in your life, because you're actually bringing something to the table and you have something to fall back on. You can't just think about, well, I'm going to go get married and someone's going to provide for me. That's not the way it works. Life is tough. It has a lot of different turns and what can happen, and illness and whatnot, or tragedy. You never know. But you have to have that power and spirit. I saw too many women stay in domestic violence situations because they had no other path. They had no other future or hope, and they had nothing to fall back on. Never be that person. Whether you're a man or a woman, strive to have your own independence, your own financial stability, and integrity, so that you never have to worry about someone else having control over your life. And, believe in yourself. If you're not happy with what you're doing, don't be afraid to make that change. Invest in yourself, whether it's reading or taking courses or online. There's so many opportunities now. You can do it. Look at all the different careers we've had. We both worked in modeling and acting and television and radio, real estate, being an entrepreneur. So, one person doesn't wear one face. You can be multifaceted. And that's the beauty and the diversity university. And that is the opportunity in the United States of America that you can have. So because you have that opportunity, do not squander it. There's people and women that grow up in another country that are being persecuted and murdered because they're not able to go get an education. They're not able to speak their minds or have their First Amendment rights. So don't take it for granted. Take advantage of it every single day and be that example manifesting out to the world so other people will grow from your strength.
Oh, you said it. Amen, sister. You said it. You said it. And to your point, my husband is a very successful CEO. He's the CEO of Romulus Entertainment, the biggest independent film company here on the East Coast. He did Halle Berry's directorial debut that he sold to Netflix at the height of the pandemic for, a lot of money. It was the biggest sale. He sold Apple, their first movie with Samuel L. Jackson, the banker. He was an executive producer on Fences with Denzel Washington. I truly don't have to work if I don't want to, right? I have a very successful husband, but it's not the way I see life. That's not the example I'm going to be for Alexa, my daughter, who's also a child star. She just did a movie with Jamie Foxx and Robert De Niro called Tin Soldier. But if she sees me take the easy road and just depend on dad, what example does that set for her? So to your point, empowering women, empowering the family, empowering the children, even Ronan sees how hard you work. He sees that you go out there and you grind every day. If it's not for politics, it's charities, it's business. He sees the example that you set. And that's why, coming back full circle, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? But you also have raised him in the most gracious way. You haven't weaponized him as a child in your divorce, which is extremely important because believe you me, I have a personal situation where, you can attest to parents, a lot of them weaponize their children. They use them as leverage one towards the other. And it's not okay. It's not. So I love that you put him first. I love that.
Absolutely. And you with Alexa, God bless. We've been very fortunate to have, wonderful children, but, a child is an investment. And as much love and, care and paying attention and education and talking, conversation, communication is so important to pour into that vessel so that they can grow and develop and nurture. And then they pay it forward in life with the people they interact with and the families, if they choose to have them, going forward in life. And I always tell Ronan, he's got to be, good citizen. Listen, if he gets A's, great, whatever. I care about him putting effort in, and I care about him treating other people with love and respect and consideration. And that's what he does. So it's, he knows what his mother values, the most. And it's beautiful to see it, blossom and grow in a very nice, young man. So I'm proud of him. And he says all the time, my mommy's good at so many things. And he said, but she is not good at taking vacation. I said, yeah, I'm always trying to work and you're probably like that too, because, there isn't a lot of time when you're involved in all these things.
I was on vacation working. I was at the El San Juan at the Fairmount. I had less than 5 days, and I spent every single day working till 2 p.m. And then from 2 to 5, went out and got some sun. But I had no choice. iHeart does not rerun shows. We had to make sure it was all in.
Yeah, new content. That's absolutely right. Well, and I'm looking forward to that going forward in 2023, and healthy and happy. And also I've got some really new things. I'll have to come back on another time to talk about some really good media and communications and great stuff coming forward to be able to, use my voice in a really effective platform. So I'm excited about that.
Hey, I would love to have you back. And at this rate, we've consumed over 30 minutes. We need our own segment.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. God bless you and your family. Big hug to Don Jr. and Ronan and your entire entourage. Thank you so much for coming on.
God bless you and your family. Thank you for the opportunity.
Guys, that was Kimberly Guilfoyle in our Millennial Mom segment brought to you by OGPay.com. Definitely check her out on the gram at Kimberly Guilfoyle, and do check out Shop Kimberly G for some real fun items for all you patriots out there. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.